Welcome to Rising Tides Live. I'm your host, Shawn Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production. Today is Pitch the Tide. It is our restaurant technology showcase show. We launched this about a couple months ago, and it has been an extremely popular segment. It's a chance for restaurant technology brands to tell us what are they building and why are they building it. And it's a chance for our community to give feedback on the pitch. So it is Pitch the Tide. We will bring up our community. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, if you're watching this on YouTube, please join us. Go to betheshow.media/rising tides, and we will send you a link so that you can be a part of the community, so that you can be on the podcast, so we can hear about what you're doing, what you're building. A rising tide lifts all ships. Let's go ahead and bring today's guest up. His name is Ben Roscillo. Ben, thank you for being here. He is the Director of Business Solutions at Factura.ai. Ben, thank you for being here, man. Welcome.
Yeah, glad to be here, Shawn. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Have you ever done a pitch show before?
I mean, I do pitches all the time as a solutions consultant, but a pitch show, I mean, I guess every day is a pitch show, but not like this.
Every day is a pitch show. That actually gets to the thesis of this community. In digital hospitality, we believe in storytelling. Most people overthink content creation, and they think, oh, I need to have a script and I need to get ready and it needs to be produced and it needs to be edited. Like, ultimately, every single day we're producing things that we want to share. It doesn't have to go out to hundreds of thousands of people. The right community will find you if you're willing to put the work in. And ultimately, you guys care about moving the industry forward, which is why we're excited to hear what you're building. I'm going to go ahead and jump off stage and let you take the floor. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Shawn. Yeah, so Factura.ai is an AP solution that we've developed for the restaurant industry. The story really just starts back to when I was a restaurant manager. I've been in the restaurant industry for most of my life, since I was 14 years old, doing dishes at a diner to working at McDonald's and Burger King as a teenager in high school. Managing pizza places to get through college. I've worked in seafood, farm to table. I've done catering. Got into the technology side about 10 years ago. But the AP story that I have, not only it starts with Factura and what we've built for our customers, but it starts with me as a restaurant manager, having to handle AP, accounts payable, right? As most of the industry knows, is the process of processing vendor bills, and which overall leads to your financial reporting, helps you with your cost of goods sold and the food that you're buying, with your accounting system, or updating your cost of goods in your restaurant management system. So my least favorite thing as a general manager through my career was dealing with invoices. I wanted to be with customers. I wanted to be with my employees, on the battlefield or out on the floor, through the service times. And all day long, window washers are coming, food's getting delivered, people are filling up your oil tanks, Cintas is dropping off your mats, and those invoices are just stacking up on my desk as a manager. And so you always had to deal with those at some point. And so, when I got a chance, I'd be back in the office, just sorting out invoices, approving them, getting ready for accounting, to be able to pay those invoices. And so, again, that was always my least favorite thing to do. I didn't use restaurant management technology for a lot of my career until the very end. A lot of the times we just, approved the bills, and, the money in the bank is what it was. And we ran tight operations, and, things were where they needed to be. But later in my career, restaurant management technology really started to come into play. That made my AP process even more cumbersome, because not only was I taking those invoices and making sure we got everything and approving them to be paid, but then I had to start entering them into the back office system as well, line by line. You get a 5-page Cisco invoice full, pull out, and then you have to just enter all those items in, the quantity, the unit cost, the item itself. And so to me, it just got worse over time. And, again, I should have just been spending my time in other ways overall. And so if I had what I had today with Factura, I would have been ecstatic back in the day. Can you, Mike, bring the next slide, please? Yeah. So anyways, first off, I should probably update my profile picture. As you can see, all the hair on the top of my head has finally made it to the bottom of my face. But, with my experience in being in the industry, again, my whole life, I got into the technology side of things about 10 years ago. So working in Compete restaurant management systems, who I think now was acquired by Restaurant 365. That's how I got the job at Compete, using it as a back office tool. I worked there in support and did implementations. I went over to Restaurant 365, as well, built out their support team, their solutions engineering team. I did consulting with Oracle NetSuite in restaurant and hospitality for about 3 years. So throughout my own journey as a GM and my own journey as a restaurant technology consultant, the past 10 years, stumbling upon Factura and what it can do for the restaurant industry just made me very excited. And so coming from companies that compete in Restaurant 365, where they're more all-in-one solutions, I was able to spend more time building tech stacks at Oracle NetSuite. And that's how I found Factura. So building best-in-class, integrated tech stacks for the restaurant industry. Met the CEO, we ran some deals together, started to partner. And again, I got so excited about the software based on my experience with the technology that was available for restaurant AP and what they had. He asked me to join the company and decided to come on board. So that's my story and overall just how I found Factura, my experience in dealing with AP and hand keying invoices into restaurant management systems, for a long time and supporting these types of technologies. But there's another story that comes along, with this, and that's, on the more of the accounting side and for multi-unit businesses. Next slide, please, Mike. And what Factura was really built for. One of the things I love about Factura is the way that it just supports not only restaurants, but how it's designed for multi-unit restaurants. Where back in the day, I was working at, shops that had one location and had a lot of AP for that one location. So I could only imagine what it's like to do AP for, a company that has 30 locations or 100 or even 1,000 locations, right? Which is some of our largest customers, what they have for a location count. So the story kind of started with Factura back in 2019. And at the time, our CEO and our CTO, they were working on some business intelligence tools they were utilizing for the restaurant industry. And in speaking with one of their clients, they had asked, what are other things that we can help you with? And they said, if you could help us with AP, that would be amazing because, we've got problems with that today. And we've got these 33 stores and we want to open another 20. And, we're having a really hard time in processing this. And, it's not really, we're having a hard time scaling. And so when our CTO took a look at this company, and our CEO went in to kind of just do the discovery initially, they were 33 unit Tim Hortons and Wendy's franchisee. Again, processing about 20,000 invoices. They had a couple of AP staff. Process was purely manual, a lot like what I was used to, but on a much bigger scale. The approval process was just through email and text. Paper invoices had to come into the central office to then be processed, analyzed, and just manually typed in. And this created a lot of problems with, accuracy, month-end close for financial reporting getting done on time, the team's working overtime. So there's lots of mistakes in the reporting due to, human errors on that scale of manual entry. Vendor relationships were compromised and, incorrect and, late payments. And overall, the owner's ambitions to grow to 20 locations more was going to require hiring more staff that were just going to deal with the same problems their current staff was handling today. And so, quite frankly, their AP coordinator, Jackie, she was just burnt out, was thinking about quitting. She wasn't getting enough time with her family. She was missing time with their kids. Next slide, Mike. And then fast forward into the future with a, restaurant-specific multi-unit AP solution. They grew to over 70 locations, only keeping the same 2 AP staff. They never had to add that additional staff. AP coordinator, Jackie, she's still with the company 6 years later. Better work-life balance, no overtime, lots of labor savings in general with the current staff and all the staff they didn't have to hire, almost, over doubling the size of the company there. And lots of other metrics in terms of like expedited approval time, increasing their accuracy as well with a system that is using, AI to intelligently code the invoices instead of relying on people, which can quite frankly make more mistakes than the machines can. And so they were staying ahead of their month-end close. Overall, vendors were more satisfied. And last but not least, more environmentally friendly, saving all those trees. There's another a webinar that we had done with Jackie, and she's testifying what Factura had done for the business. You can just see all the empty file cabinets behind her. Fast forward into the future, so saving trees as well. Next slide, please, Mike. So since then, building a solution specific to multi-unit QSRs, we've got a very big footprint in the restaurant industry. We work a lot with top 200 QSR companies. We were talking about the big companies that you all in the restaurant industry are familiar with, that have not only just many locations up into the hundreds and thousands, but many brands and many companies as well. So we're not a stranger to working with those larger groups that will have a bunch of KFCs and Taco Bells and Whataburgers, etc. And so today, we have about 25% of the McDonald's locations on our platform in the US. We've got about 40% of the Carl's Jr.'s, 12 Taco Bell groups, 6 Wendy's groups. I mean, when you see a logo on here, it's not because we have a logo, because we have one person who has one location. These are all multi-unit groups. So we're talking 10 locations at a minimum, and again, up to over 1,000 with our customer footprint. So we are mostly like a mid-market and an enterprise solution. So the footprint's definitely there. Building the software, again, wrapping it around that Wendy's and Tim Hortons franchisee. We definitely found our ICP, which is not just QSRs. It's also full service restaurants as well, where I think the value is even double, because not only are we just streamlining the accounting process, but we're helping those back office managers that utilize other tools like Restaurant 365 or Crunch Time, for example, for inventory. Not only are we helping with the accounting process, but we're streamlining all of those entries into those restaurant management systems, where a lot of invoices that are outside of the electronic invoices that a lot of major suppliers are already integrating, we're helping those store managers just knock all that out in a more automated fashion, giving them more time with their employees, more time with their customers. Again, all things that I wish I had back in the day when I was a GM. Next slide, please, Mike. And lastly, it really comes down to why, how. Well, with Factura, the way we designed our architecture around a multi-brand, multi-location, multi-company business like QSR Group, we designed our system to only require one inbox. And so all of the vendors that send AP, they only need to send it to one inbox. So no matter how many brands, companies, locations you have, and our system is the only system that we know of that can auto-detect and select the location by actually reading the invoice. So no matter how your vendors are labeling your stores on the invoice, whether it's location name, number, ship to, alias, address, zip code, town, state, we use that as we use all that criteria to auto-detect and select that location. The other thing that we do for these types of businesses is handle location splits. So if you're a company with multiple brands with different locations rolled up to it, we're going to be able to auto parse your invoices with those location splits, as well. Furthermore, we can process food line item invoices, whether it's just mapped to accounting or whether it needs to be mapped for inventory item purposes to help streamline that back office is the main, base of what our architecture has to offer for multi-unit restaurants. Up until I had found Factura as a restaurant tech consultant myself, when I was at Oracle working in restaurant and hospitality, the only AP solutions on the market were really a OCR that didn't really quite stick in processing these types of invoices, definitely couldn't read and detect and select the location for these multi-unit businesses. And so the OCR always had to be corrected. And so a lot of the invoices still had to be manually interacted with, at least to select the location. Couldn't handle lots of, robust line items and things like that. So a lot of the OCR technologies out there that I found really weren't helping the multi-unit or restaurant industry, quite frankly. And then there were other tools that were accomplishing more of the coding getting done. But what I found was they were just tools that were just using outsourced human labor to just code the invoices for you, leading to 24 up to 72-hour delays in getting all that detail programmed in. So you're basically just uploading a document into a queue and having outsourced folks just do that for you instead. And so that led to the same problems, inaccuracies, timing delays, etc. So when I had found Factura, I got very excited that there was a technology designed specifically for multi-unit restaurants that was able to accomplish what it does. There are some other pieces to the story, like we really believe in great customer, support. We really have our customers rave about our customer service, our development. We're very good at, with the flexible solution, being able to tweak the system to meet every customer's unique needs. As you may think that a lot of QSRs and FSRs are the same, but they all process AP differently depending on their reporting needs and their goals. And so with our customer service team, we really work with our clients to help optimize the system on a vendor by vendor basis. We remove all of that tribal knowledge from people, have the system automate the process. We are overall providing a modern AP platform that really just transforms that role into being more of a facilitator, less of a data entry clerk, which increases a lot of job satisfaction. And so really at the end of the day, companies are able to scale their system and have their employees focus on other tasks, to focus on growth, to be more analytical and help drive the business forward instead of caught up in just paper and manual entry and fixing mistakes and things like that. So the time savings there is to really just help these movers and shakers that we work with focus on growing their business without adding headcount to their admin office every time that they add stores and build locations. And that's pretty much the pitch.
Great stuff, Ben. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to get to the community. I'll start with some feedback. First of all, I love what you guys are building. I would 1000% bring the slide with the logos to the front.
Okay, cool.
Like, without a doubt. I mean, the fact that you guys are doing that type of work for 25% of McDonald's restaurants, like just the lens of credibility of, there you go. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, the lens of credibility. I mean, you have every major restaurant group on there, and understanding that if these brands are trusting you and your technology to help with AP and invoicing, like 100%, like bring that to the front. The other one is, there's something interesting when you started talking about invoices as the enemy. I love that idea. Like, it's not that we're going to get rid of invoices, but how do you as a company and as a storyteller position invoices and show us what you described when you were a GM working at the restaurant? Like, we all know what those folders look like, but like, how do you bring it into a deck, or how do you bring it into a visual where we can actually see, like, yeah, nobody wants to deal with that. We all want to be on the floor. We don't want to, reconcile invoices, get them entered into system. Like, how do we show that? And the other thing that I wanted to say was the story about the woman. What was her name? Jackie,
yeah.
Yeah, Jackie. If there's a way, number one, a photo of her is amazing, but sometimes, customers, they don't, depending on, what you can disclose and not disclose, but like, how do you make her come to life in a way, in something more real?
Need a
like
video, Shawn.
What's that? Videos. I mean, obviously,
if you had Jackie on camera, there's an old adage that if you say that you're great, no one cares. But if somebody else says he's great, that's way more powerful. Imagine chatting somebody up.
I think Richard's great, and I think Richard should go next.
Well, it's the old adage, isn't it? If you go up to somebody in a bar and say, "Hey, I'm really good looking," okay, you've got to be able to pull that off. But if somebody else says, "Oh, you should go out with him, he's really good looking," it's so much more powerful. And I agree with what you're saying, Shawn, that actually, if you can get that as a video testimonial, like a lot of my work comes through referrals, and that's because of the people who've said, "You should work with Rich, he's great." And I'm actually thinking about, how do I activate that? And I recently made a podcast with one of my clients, Scott, who's a friend of the show. And I need to add that to my website because it's way more powerful than me going, "Hey, you should work with me." Just adding on to your point. I'll go back to you, Shawn.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard. Mike Biseglia, who are you? What are you working on? And what's your feedback for Ben?
Yeah, no, great job, Ben. Mike Biseglia, producer, Cali BBQ Media, and working on some restaurant influencers articles right now, and then of course producing right here for Pitch the Tide. Live producing is what I'm doing too. But no,
that's the essence of Cali Barbecue Media.
Yeah, exactly. What about that's great. But I 100% agree with Shawn. When we went to the slide that had all of those recognizable brands, like in my mind, I went, wow. It clicked in my head and felt the security of it, right? Like if they're using this, why am I not, right? I, the restaurant operator owner, not using this? And that instantly clicked. So I love Shawn's idea to have that at the forefront and at the start. I think would be a great way to just absorb and draw the audience in right away. I think just interesting is like someone that was in the background moving the slides along from a technical standpoint too. Just think about like, and I'm curious actually to get your feedback on this, Ben, as well, kind of in a weird way. But we had 11 slides. You went through with 6 of them. I thought it was a good job not feeling obligated to use all of them. So sometimes maybe even less could be more. So you don't feel like you have to get to every slide. And if it's a video of Jackie or something like that as part of it, and you don't have to have so much there because you're a really good talker, right? Like I felt very comfortable as you were talking. Like I didn't hear any nerves, anything like that, and very comfortable in this setting, the camera. So I imagine when you're doing the pitches, not on camera and just in real life per se, you probably do a great job with that. So I would almost think about like removing less on these slides, and then not having to feel this obligation of getting to everything on there and just being more of your natural self because you have a really great presence when you talk.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. You got it.
Dean LeBay, who are you? What are you doing today? And what's your feedback for Ben?
My name's Dean LeBay, LA-BAY. I'm in New Orleans. I'm a retired paperclip salesman now working with the Cali Barbecue media team. Fantastic job, by the way. This is not your first rodeo. You've done this before. So did a great job. Kind of in agreement basically with what everybody's saying. On the one with all the different logos, me personally, I take the Whataburger, maybe expand it up a little bit bigger, big Whataburger fan. And then the client testimonial kind of things. I mean, look at all, you've got a story there to tell every week of the every week for the next year. What you did for Whataburger, what you did for McDonald's, what you did for any brand that's on there. So start telling your story about how you're making a difference in these industries. And man, I think you got a killer program. Now, when you say AP, a lot of times I've talked to people that are in restaurant tech, and they focus just on like the food segment or whatever. I'm assuming by what you said, anything that restaurant has an AP for, whether it be a paper clip, whether it be whatever it may be, if it goes in the accounts payable file, you handle it, you make sure it happens, you make sure it gets paid. Is that pretty correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So whereas a lot of restaurant management systems are really only processing AP as far as food and beverage is concerned, we provide a hub for the entire business. Multi-unit businesses that have multiple geographical locations, they've got localized, utility vendors, window washers, insurance, marketing. So we process all of those bills. And so whether you're integrated to an all-in-one system like a Restaurant 365, we can blast all the AP in there from a corporate perspective and the inventory. Or if you have a tech stack where you're using like an Intact or a NetSuite with systems from a restaurant management perspective that are integrated to it, we can send AP to both places. Corporate invoices right into accounting, food and beverage line items into restaurant management system as well. So we provide that central hub to do it all, Dean. I appreciate that question.
Let me ask you another question since we're talking about this. Hypothetical, let's say that you've got 10 locations. Let's say that one of the locations, he's been getting third pan, 6 inches deep. He's been getting them for $6 a piece for the last year, and then all of a sudden they go to $9. Does your system, like, I'm not going to say send off an alarm, but is that something that I know in this industry across all lines, a lot of times when people are selling things, they'll say, well, I need to make a little bit more commission this month, so I'm going to raise the price on this product. You know what I'm saying? And does your system like kind of pick that out, or is it possible to pick it out?
Yeah, there's a number of ways. So again, if you're using a restaurant management system, usually that level of detail of quantity and unit cost over trend and time, right, you can track. But we have a lot of QSR groups that really aren't using those back office systems as much and basically just sending AP all straight into accounting. So what our system does to supplement that is we have a line item analysis report that will look at any trends in quantities purchased and unit cost over any date range and time. So you can see the trends on those individual line items. So since we're capturing the information anyways, we can offer some insight as well. Because the truth is not everybody's getting into the nitty gritty of inventory and recipe costing, but they just want to know how much they're paying for items over a length of time. We can provide that.
All right. That's fantastic to know. Thanks. I appreciate it. Great presentation. And like I said, Whataburger, baby. The reason I bring it up, I don't know if y'all know about this or not, but the quarterback for the Georgia Tech football team is a guy named Hayes King, and he's from my hometown in Longview, Texas, which is pretty close to a lot of Whataburgers in Longview. But he just became one of their spokesmen, that NIL stuff. I think he's making like 1.7 million on it. Not
Nice.
bad for a college senior.
No, it's not bad at all.
Good stuff. Ben, what's the plan for 2026 for Factura? Where are you guys showing up? What's the go-to-market strategy, and like how can this community support you guys?
So basically, we just we've got a go-to-market person, joining our team, and we're going to be expanding our sales team as well. So we're going to be hitting up events. We're going to be doing localized, events as well. So restaurant events, dinners, things like that. And overall, we're going to start to get more into marketing. We really have done not much on the end of business development and marketing at this point, though our pipeline is full and we've been very busy. It's been, straight up just, brute force and industry connections at this point. Honestly, happy customers are telling people to come to us. So the inbounds that we're getting, people
Sweet.
telling their friends is, speaks, quite a bit. And so, that combined with a go-to-market strategy that we're just starting to build right now and hiring more salespeople. And again, just being out there, staying top of mind, with these events and, dinners that we'll throw on, should bring us a real solid year. We're starting to get into sales cycles with some of our largest customers, to date, companies that have 3 to 5, to 1,000 locations. So 300 to 500 or 1,000 locations. Yeah. So we're really starting to swim upstream as well.
That's awesome. Where can people find out more? Mike will put links in the show notes, but if someone's listening to this, we repurpose this on our digital hospitality podcast. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thanks for showing up. Where can people reach out to you?
Yeah, so they can basically reach out to us via LinkedIn. Factura has its page as well. You can always hit up the website too, Factura.ai, where you can inquire. Shoot us a message or get a demo, or you can reach out to myself, ben.roscillo at Factura.ai as well, and we'd be happy to tell you more about Factura. That's
amazing. We appreciate it. Richard, do you have any parting words of wisdom? Congratulations, Richard. Can you share with the community? I've been following on social. For those that are watching, listening, we have an Instagram group chat. We have a LinkedIn group chat. We have a Slack channel. If you want to be a part of the community, a rising tide lifts all ships, please reach out to podcast@calibbq.media. We will add you to any of those channels, but that way we can support you wherever you are in the world. If you're in London and you have an incredible thing happen for your business, we can support you. Richard, please share what happened recently.
I'll pass my tip on first to Ben. I think your presentation was interesting. There's a little bit where the logos that people were calling out, I think it's just really good for instant credibility. And when it comes to telling your story, your back history, that's okay. But how does it add value to the customer? Just something to think about. And Jackie's story, get it on camera, because that's just a beautiful, beautiful thing you've got there. And when that goes into your deck, that's going to be amazing.
Agreed. Make Jackie to hear.
And good luck with the sales and marketing. And just think about when you're doing your sales and marketing strategy, combine the two and call it a conversation strategy. How can you have as many conversations as possible? And that's what I think about when I'm building for my customers. And the more conversations you have at different stages of the pipeline, the more prosperous your business will be, because your idea is great. It's about how you have those conversations. And it's great that Jackie and friends are creating them for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Best of luck with that. My life has been pretty crazy this week. On Tuesday, each year they do Small Business Saturday in the US, and then they do it in the UK too. And they pick 100 businesses from around the UK that are the nation's favourite, and I was selected as one of them. And it ended up with all kinds of events leading up to tomorrow, which is Small Business Saturday. On Tuesday, I ended up, before my big event, being on a panel at one of Europe's largest banks, talking about small business and how it is to be an ADHD entrepreneur, before going to the Houses of Parliament for a reception where had a conversation with the business minister, the leader of one of the opposition parties in the UK, and then my own representative or member of parliament, as we call them, gave me a private tour of the building. And I'm seeing him tomorrow to show him some local businesses. And then after that, after all the speeches and lunch and meeting the 99 other businesses that have made such a big contribution, we were taken to Downing Street, where we ended up in the Chancellor's house having a presentation or a speech from her. And then it's ended up on social media today, which it's just been fantastic. A lot of people did Black Friday deals. I've done a Small Business Saturday one where people book 6 sessions. I'm doing £100 off to represent being in the 100, and a number of my posts have just exploded, which has been fantastic. And it feels strange for me because I normally prefer to shed a light on other people's businesses. So having a light shone on my own and being British about it is slightly surreal and uncomfortable. But there's also a little bit where, you know what, I need some new clients for next year. And if this is one of those ways that I can show other people how to put their businesses out there, then it's fantastic. But it has been an incredible week. I'm in all the local papers. And like I said, tomorrow I'm going out with our representative to show him some of the businesses that I've worked with and the difference we've made in our community. So it's an incredible thing, and I'm trying to use the recognition to show other people what's possible.
Love it. Richard, we're very proud of you. Rising Tide lifts all ships. Another shout out to Loisant Gordon, who is Nair's Tavern. He's a part of our community.
I love that post.
Yeah, he also was highlighted for small business here in the United States. So as a part of this community, we have United States represented as small business and UK. So you can't go wrong with the Rising Tide community. Amazing stuff, Richard. Congratulations. Dean LeBay, takeaway, homework assignment.
Okay, my tip's going to be this. You said something about go-to-market. The name of the show is called The Rising Tide. And the reason is because when we lift each other up, we lift ourselves. Being what I would do is on the go-to-market, I would change it to go-to-network, and I would take that photograph you've got of all those companies, and I'd go to that network and I'd say, listen, you're happy with our work, you know, and just try to work your work referrals and your network within that. And honestly, I think if you start telling stories about your customers, they'll be happy to share their referrals with you, and I think you'll have more business you can shake a damn stick at. It'll be like shooting fish in a bucket. So I think you're going to do fine. I was actually jazzed. I was generally a little jazzed here listening to you talk. So that's what I'm saying. I know this ain't your first rodeo, but that's what I do. I focus on go to network, go to my network, go to the ones that are doing business with you now, that are happy with you, and find out who else you can make happy. Thanks.
Is that
good stuff, Dean. Thank you. I agree.
Shooting fish in a bucket, or is it shooting fish in a barrel?
Well, I guess it depends on where you're from. Now, down here, we catch catfish and we throw them in a bucket, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and sometimes if they're flopping around too much, you just shoot them.
Okay.
And, anyway, I thought
it sounds easier. It sounds
Richard knows all about that. It sounds like a very British thing to do. Catch the catfish and put them in a bucket.
Do you know, I had my first ever catfish. I was over for meetings in Kentucky, and I'd never had catfish before. And I was like, this is really nice. And I think there's something I've always found when I've been in the States, that Southern hospitality and food fascinates me. I want more of it. Bring it.
I love it. Mike, wrap us up. Tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Yeah, one, I've never had Whataburger, and I really want to. I used to work with somebody that would always make sure I said it the correct way as well. Now I'm like, I definitely want to try Whataburger. That's on my bucket list of things. And just for Ben, lean into what everybody said, kind of echoing all of that and bringing to the forefront that one slide, I think adds that instant credibility. And yeah, looking forward to following you on LinkedIn and all the things you post to continue this journey. So great job.
If there's
Thank
anything,
you so much, guys.
if there's anything I can do or the community can do, Ben, reach out to me anytime. We have a robust show schedule for next year. So if you're at any of the shows, we have partners that we work with, things that we do. Love to, connect and help you guys grow. So
yeah, good luck, Ben. And think
Really appreciate it,
international
guys.
as well. Think international. There are a lot of restaurant groups in the UK that would benefit from you. And there's a guy in our community, Adam Foreman, who'd be very well placed to talk to. Going international.
Thank you so much, guys.
All like that.
I appreciate that. And I hope to see you all at the upcoming events, in 2026. And I hope we get to stay in touch. And thanks for having me and appreciate all the advice. We'll definitely put it to good use. So thank you, guys.
Absolutely. As always, stay curious, get involved. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Check out Factura.ai. Reach out to Ben. Thank you, Mike. Mike and I will be at Google next Wednesday. So Stover will be producing. If anyone in the community wants to host, Richard, wink, wink, Dean, wink, wink. If you want to host the show every Wednesday, we do it at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. London time. That show is available. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Thanks for subscribing to Digital Hospitality. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ben. Have a great day.
Thank you.